What if I told you that I came up with a Negroni Riff using only French ingredients inspired by a completely different person? On today's episode of Mike's Hard Reviews. Hey now, hello, welcome back to Mike's Hard Reviews. My name is Michael, and it's lovely to have you all here today. So here's what we're doing. I am good buddies with a whole bunch of other YouTuber bartenders, and today we are all releasing a video on a collaboration based around respecing the Negroni to a different historical theme. Basically, the Negroni is named after the Count Camillo de Negroni from Italy, or maybe somebody else, who knows. I wanted to give everybody the prompt of creating a different Negroni riff based on a different historical figure using relevant ingredients to that person. The rules were it has to generally resemble a Negroni, be based on a historical figure, and contain at least 1 ounce of an Amaro Aperitif, something along those lines. Which means I am going to present to you guys today my version of this drink, the Lafayette. As a means of, making this all functional, I'm going to tell you just a teensy bit about Marquis de Lafayette, whose actual name is long as fuck. Mauritius Paul Yves Gilbert de Motier de Lafayette, Marquis de Lafayette. Super long. There's a reason he was just called Lafayette here in America. And yes, by the way, that is the Lafayette from Hamilton fame, played by Daveed Diggs, which is fucking cool. Daveed Diggs is badass. He was a French noble person in the French military, came to the United States to join the Continental Army during the days of the American Revolution. He was an abolitionist and generally purported the idea of the people being the ruling class. He's a really cool guy, and he would absolutely hate to see what is happening to America right now if he was alive and well to see it. That being said, you would probably also really enjoy this drink, so let's go ahead and make a Lafayette right now. Let's talk about the ingredients. To make a Lafayette, you will need Grapefruit Liqueur, Suze, either a Cognac or Mauritius Rum, coffee bitters, and for garnish, a strip of orange peel. When I built this cocktail, I was working on whether or not I wanted to base this on a rum from a French port or Cognac, which is obviously French, and I did try both. I prefer the Mauritius Rum approach, simply because this is more my speed than Cognac, but both are good, and they actually make a really solid blend here as well. Like I said, everything was supposed to be done using only French ingredients, and a Mauritius rum, while Mauritius has a long and complicated independent history, was at one point a French, and then an English, and then a French, then an English, and I think initially it was a Dutch colony. It was a big mess, but that was my way into doing that. Suze was my option for my Amaro, or Amaro as they're referred to in French, and because this does have some of those underlying citrusy notes to it that are similar to Campari, by itself with a vermouth as a third ingredient, it did fare rather well. However, I wanted it to be a little bit more zesty, so I leaned into Grapefruit Liqueur from Giffard, which is the best French liqueur company I can think of. I don't think there are any others, actually. All that is to say, all French ingredients. Let's go ahead and mix one up. Let's grab a stirring glass and get it mixing up. We're going to start with 1 dash of our coffee bitters. Come behind that with just half an ounce of a grapefruit liqueur. Next up, we'll add 1 ounce of Suze. And finally, 1.5 ounces of whatever spirit or blend of spirits you chose to use, whether that's rum or cognac. That's all of our ingredients. Let's go ahead and grab some ice. With the stirring vessel ice down, we'll go ahead and stir this together for about 10 to 20 seconds. For serving, I'm going to grab a single rocks glass out of my freezer. To that, I'm going to add some large format ice. Once that's in there, we're going to go ahead and double strain, or single strain, in this case, our cocktail over top. For garnish, we're going to take an orange here. I'm going to take a nice long and thick swath off of this. We're going to express that over top, rub that around the rim, and then lay that in the drink around our ice. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a Lafayette. Cheers. Let's give this a taste. Salut. Ooh, that is positively delightful. So the Suze does have a natural citrus kind of tone to it, and it hits you with a very similar bitterness to Campari. Less bitter orange, more gentian, but the citrus impact is still present. The grapefruit liqueur restores that kind of zestiness, that kind of light acidity you get from that kind of orange flavor, and then the orange expression completes that, bringing it closer to the profile of what Campari does exactly without losing the impact of a very unique liqueur like Suze. The rum in there is present. Mauritius rum is not super intense. It's not very funky. It has kind of an agricole presence on the nose, but on the palate is very smooth, kind of lightly sweet, not too funky. I'd say it's the next step up in terms of complexity from something like a Puerto Rican. What's really fun in there is the coffee. Citrus and coffee are notes that go together particularly well when you think about citruses that are not very sour, but do have a lot of zest to them. So citrus like grapefruit, pomelo, and like orange go well with coffee. I think in part orange specifically because it goes kind of like in the direction of like dark chocolate and orange, which is a good combo. This leverages that. It takes the rum, which is a not quite neutral, but like very wide base that can take on a lot of different flavors. And on top of that, we build this bitter, fruity, zesty, yet still like not acidic, very gentle composition that nails all of those components on the head. I think as far as a French interpretation of a Negroni goes, you probably couldn't get any closer than this. Check out the hashtag Negroni Riff in the description down below. That's where all of us are going to be posting our videos. You can check out folks like Cocktail Underground, The Calm Scribe, Jer from Kill Deville, Bonnie from Cocktail Underground. I think Better Avec Bourbon is going to be making one. Rusty or Ben from Rusty's Bartender is going to Rusty Bartender. He's going to be doing one. Everybody's getting in on this one, my guy. Everybody's doing a Negroni Riff, and we're all dropping them at the same time. So go check them all out. I will link their videos in the description once they go live, and go check everybody out. Thank you for watching. Hope you all enjoy. Au revoir.